We're back. I have no earthly idea what that was. Have no earthly idea what that was. Let me know when you guys are. Give me a thumbs up if you're back in here and it's running smoothly. I'll wait. I shall wait. I shall wait. I will wait. Yeah, enemy hard at work. If you seen my setup for it to just blank out, like my whole entire everything froze. So like I have lights here, like major camera here, two screens, my everything froze. Yes, like everything completely froze. It's like this is a major setup I have here. You're looking at a full geek when it comes to this computer stuff. For my equipment to freeze like that, the enemy is he does not want this message out. Train of thoughts. Let's get back on track. My overarching point is be careful. How many times in the word does it warn us about letting no one deceive you? The enemy is cunning. He's so cunning. Those those who know me personally, like how do I want to say this? Lord, I'll say it this way. Lord, I thank you for shaping me how you have shaped me. I thank you for every situation that you have put me in to prepare me for this exodus that we are partaking upon. When I look back at my life, I look at where I come from. I look at the hardships of coming out of a place that I come from. I look at my can I just let me be vulnerable for a second. Father, I thank you because even though I did not know it then, you've always had your hands on me. I was speaking with my little cousin one day, and I was telling her about how I got to know her mother. So, my uncle and her mother were good friends, and you know, that led to one thing. But my personal relationship with her mother, I can remember me and my older brother in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's where my father's side of the family is. That's where I was originally born. I was raised in North Carolina, but I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I remember when my father was going through his struggles and drugs played a part, you know, those times back then. And I can remember her mother would walk all the way to our house, get me and my older brother, and we would walk all the way across to the other side of town to church. We were young. Yo, yo, but we were young. And I remember in those moments, like, and these were some hard times at times. There were joyful times too. Like the sense of peace and the sense of being able to relax for a second when we would be at this church. And I remember my favorite song was, I couldn't have been no more than maybe when I came back here, I was in the, when my mom came and got us and we came back to North Carolina, I was at the end of the second grade. So this lets you know how young I was there. And I remember my favorite song when I would be in there was Silver and Gold. I'd rather have Jesus than silver. And I think back at that time, like at stuff like that, like he's always had his hand on me. I remember times once I came back to North Carolina and growing up in the projects, Carver Court, Kinston, North Carolina, Bright Street. I've always looked at things like, why do we do that to each other? I grew up in a place where you had to have this bravado. I'm going to stand up for myself, fight when needed to. I even started to get the reputation when I was younger as, go get Sid. Sid ain't scared of him. Sid'll fight him. And I can remember that being my story for a long time. I had a best friend during the time. I won't put a name out there, just out of respect for the fact that he has passed away and the respect for his family. But I can remember a time where my mother, this is during a time where I was getting in trouble and I was just, father not in the household. Like I still had a relationship with my dad. I would always go to Lancaster during the summers and love my father. But I remember telling myself during these times, like, people are not going to pick. I'm not going to let anyone get away with anything. And I was living at this time just like, however it goes, it goes. And I can remember my mother coming to me one day and her saying, "Son, I can't get off work when you're out here doing something. You have to want to do good in school, not me wanting good for you." And she looked me dead in my eyes and she told me, "Either you want to make it or you don't. And when she said these things to me, it was as if the Lord was speaking himself. And let me tell you something about when the Lord speaks and he puts you at a crossroads. If you think, we've all seen that movie Matrix, right? Red or blue pill, take the pill. If you think you're going to take the Lord's pill and it's not going to come with hardships, you're kidding yourself. I can remember when I made the choice to, I'm going to get back to being Sid and not caring about being a part of the in crowd. And I can remember those that I hung with at the time. There was beef. When I say I come from a rough city, I come from a rough city. And if y'all don't know what beef means, drama. It could come to blows, it could come to worse. But let me show you how the Lord works. He started to remove those type of friends. And people that were already in my life that I call friend. I started to draw closer to them. And those same young men that I started to draw closer to, those are my brothers to this day. To this day. And I smile every time I get the chance to see where we come from. I remember I told you I had a friend who has passed away, and I won't mention his name. We had beef. I can remember in high school him like, you don't rock with us no more. Like it was static, like real static. But this is how funny the Lord is. I remember picking my stepfather up from work one day. I'm well grown by this time, well grown into my 30s. I see that friend walking out. He had a job there also. These are the last words he ever said to me. He said, "Man, I'm proud of you. I wish, I wish I would have followed you." And hugged me. I don't believe I laid eyes on him again. He ended up being, maybe a few years later, killed. I say all of that to say, don't be so distracted by our own mind trying to wrap around our own wants, goals, dreams, how we want it to play out, that we can't hear the Lord. Sure, I want to still be in the in crowd. I want to still be a part of. 1 second, that is my son. Hey, my child. So, guys, I'm going to finish this point and then I'm going to go get my son because he is at basketball practice and apparently he has gotten out early. But I'll finish this point. Don't be so distracted about what we want that we can't hear or we can't see when God is speaking directly to us through someone or through a situation. For me at that point in time, it was my mother. You're going to make it or you're not, boy. For us as a collective in the whole, when we're looking at our current president, and I specifically aim this, it's for everyone, but I aim it directly at my community because I love you guys. When I say the black community, don't be so hateful of a man that you're unwilling to see how God may be using him, even if it's unknowingly so, even in moments of his pride. Be able to look past that and say, how is God moving in this situation? That's my message for today. And why is that my message? Because without discernment, we are lost. Discern case by case, situation by situation basis. Even if you have a disdain for our current president, don't be so quick to speak out. 99% of the things that I see, I'm like, this guy, why does he have to speak like that? So many times I started to start up this mic and camera and I say, what? And something just says, patience. Do you see what I'm doing in the situation? Discernment. It's paramount that we have it in these times. Oh, we bombed this country. Really look into it. Oh, did you see what they bombed Nigeria? Well, what was going on in Nigeria? Let's see. It's something I've been paying very much attention to that, I know a lot of my people aren't going to like about this, but I don't care. What the Lord says speaks, I'm going to speak it. He's put it on me. I'm speaking it. I see how the media covers things. And I mine this stuff. When I say I actively seek these things right here, I mine this stuff. I go and see how their local media is covering certain things. I go on X and I say, well, let me see how their local population is with their camera phones, how they're reacting to these certain things. And I'm like, these people are celebrating. Are we willing to walk a mile in someone else's shoes? Imagine if you were a Christian in Nigeria and the Western media is covering. He bombs Nigeria with no explanation. But could you imagine coming out of Sunday service and AK-47s going off? All because you choose to worship our Lord and Savior? There's something I've been seeing with the Venezuela stuff, with the Iran stuff. The media is covering things one way, but I'm looking at these people celebrating. Can you walk a mile in these people's shoes when there's no hope? When you know that radical Islam is building up on the borders of your town, waiting for you to dare gather together and call yourself worshiping. So I say, don't look at the man. Judge a case by case basis. How is God moving in these times? This is no endorsement of Trump. Like I said, 99% of the things that I see turns my stomach. Some of the things I hear him say, he didn't have to say it like that. But I can also say, I see God in that. Not so much you did that of your own free will, but I can see God in that. And then I take a step back and I pray and I say, Lord, let his actions be more aligned with your will than his own. And I would do the same, whoever was in office, whoever. But guys, I'll try to come back today and talk some more with you guys. But I am dad and I am in dad mode, and it is time to go get kid from practice. I have an athlete. And again, I'll try to be back if things don't get too busy. But I won't end this without saying, love you guys. I know the Lord loves you guys. And have discernment, case by case basis. Don't let anything overweigh that, case by case. Because the only thing that matters in this world, it's all temporary except the people. The people. So when you're judging, does this affect the people positive who are being affected by this or negatively? That's the only criteria. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and love each other. So that's what we should judge based off of. Much love to you all. Glad you guys showed up. And again, I will try to be back today.